Oh, I gotta get a haircut. Anyway, this is kind of like I really didn't have an intention of doing another video today. I don't know if you hear that Polish techno going on back there, but is the audio on? Yeah, okay. Don't want it. So, yeah, I went to the Mermaid Parade. That was a bust. Really, it was so hot. Oh my God, and just the yeah, I don't think that's my kind of crowd. I tried to dress like snazzy. I wore like a tropical T-shirt. This is as crazy as I go now. I'm trying to cool off with a beverage. Oh my God, like in a beer commercial. It's like, oh, that's tasty. I try to avoid it. So, Mermaid Parade, yeah. It was hot. I thought I was gonna pass out. So many people, so much craziness. And in the morning, I texted this girl that I knew for like a minute on Instagram, actually, DM'd her. And last time I saw her was like 2019 at the parade because she lives in Coney Island. So, but she didn't respond, so I'm out there for like a couple hours. And when I finally make it to the train and sit down and enjoy the air conditioning, like 2 stops in, she's like, "Oh, I'm on my way," and I'm like, "Damn." And I told her that I left. I didn't have the. She didn't tell me where she was, and I didn't have the energy to turn back around. It's my fault, I guess. Here I am complaining about things. I also brought I had high hopes. I brought 2 condoms with me too, just in case I was going to do it twice or be once in a 3-way. So after all that, and I knew I was going to have a weird day, and I'm having a weird day. First day of summer, of course it's got to be weird. For my life, yeah. And it's just like I wanted to be weird in a good way, but so I'm like I don't want to go all the way home at like 2:45 in the afternoon. It's hot. So I decide to take the train from Coney to 57th Street, get myself just a quick pizza just to like recharge because I walked a lot in the heat, and then get like a Dunkin' iced tea. So I was like, okay, let me just like I was like in Midtown, so I just started walking just a block, and I saw uh, one of my old friends, who's just kind of like an enemy now, his wife, his brother-in-law, and his sister. And like I walked right past them, and they didn't see me. I don't think they noticed me. So what do? It looked like they were leaving a Broadway show, so I start following them. And I followed them for like 25 blocks, because I wanted to see where they were going, because I haven't seen them in years. Um, you know, I, this is a dude that I bled for. This is a dude that, and I would say we bled for each other. We worked together for years. We were close like brothers. I introduced him to his present day wife, who is walking with him, who is also best friends with one of my exes. So I can't be friends with him anymore because that's just going to be a whole scene. And I talked about that before. I think I've mentioned this before, but I haven't seen him. So they're walking, and his brother-in-law. I never got along with his brother-in-law. His brother-in-law was he's just a douchewad. Like, that's the best I can explain it. He's just one of those people who are just phony. And there might be a lot of adjectives people use for me, but there's one thing that people know, and the truth is I'm not a phony. This guy is a phony. He's just one of those guys that smile, talk a lot of crap, make himself like he's like King Feces of Intercourse Mountain, and I never liked him. I never believed him. Him and his friends, his bros, these corporate bros from Massachusetts and Connecticut, these transplants, always doing coke, always wearing the pastel khaki shorts with shoes with no socks, and telling her like, "Oh, we're gonna score, bro. We're gonna totally," So he married my friend's sister. And she had a crush on me in high school. I mean, this is how far back this goes. And I wanted to get with his sister. He's like, if you touch my sister, I'm going to break your fucking hands. And I'm like, okay. So I don't curse, but anyway. So I was like, okay. So that crush got put to the side. But she was there too. And it was just like, oh. So they went into this hotel bar in not hotel bar, a bar in Grand Central Station. Like looks kind of upscale, but whatever. And I just walked over, like eventually, because I just wanted, he looked like he went to the bathroom, and I just wanted to just catch him by himself to be like, just for a second, to just say hi, just to say what's up. And I said, hey, I said, his name rhymes with cleric. I said, hey, and he's like, oh, hi. Barely turns around to shake my hand, shakes it, and keeps walking. Me just a beeline to where his brother-in-law, his sister are sitting. His wife was like in the bathroom. Didn't even want to like look me in the eye. Couldn't even acknowledge me for for like a microsecond. And this is a guy you worked with for years, intensely, drank intensely with. Went out. We went on trips together. Whatever. We vacationed as friends. We stayed out to 6 in the morning to see the sunrise. I mean, makes it sound a little bit more weird, but anyway. And running into a person that you worked with, we were always work buddies. We were always, because I wanted to do the sketch group, and he was funny, so I wasn't really friends with him in high school. We just kind of clicked because we had the same sense of humor. I had a camera. Let's go nuts. And it's worse than running into an ex-girlfriend, honestly, because like it's different, and it's like I'm not, and and we're in a bar of all places, so it'd be like, hey, you know what? Let's just have a drink for old time's sake. I don't know, whatever. You caught me in a mood. It's the first day of summer. I'm hot and sweaty. I'm kind of tired. It would just be nice to just say, hey, how you doing? Oh, how you doing? Can't even have that. You're that much of a social pariah. And then, of course, if his wife was there, so of course, all that information would just go back, trickle down to be like, oh, I can't believe you talked to him. I can't believe you had a drink with him. It would be a scene, man. It would be the talk of the town. And it stinks. That's, to have that happen. And they owe me. They owe me a lot. They do. Because I believed in them, and I took that raw material and I tried to convert it into something. And was I a jerk about it? Yes. Was I an asshole about it? Yes. Was I intolerable a lot of the time? Absolutely. But I wanted to drag them up through the mountain. I'm like a drill sergeant for this stuff. And, and then what happens? Then you're just by yourself. So I'm by myself here, this, tower, the freedom to do art. And that's what happens. It's like, I know it's lonely at the top. It's not like even like that. I'm not getting that's not. I'm not at the top. I'm just kind of, whatever appearances too. But you have to like work too, and it's just like, and I know he works with his brother-in-law making music. I know he works with a couple of other friends of mine who also don't talk to me. But I never hear about their work. The quality of their work doesn't make the paper. It doesn't make the news. Nothing that they do is of any note. And he was the first guy. He was the guy to really start this. We don't get along, so then I don't want to work with you. That was his. That was his thing. It was the genesis was from him. And I told him, like, we don't have to be friends. We don't have to like each other to create great comedy. And he's like, no, well, I don't want to work with you. I want to only work with my friends. I only want to work with people that make me happy. You know what? Screw happy. Happy is not what it's about. It's about breaking new ground. It's about doing things that are new, not just hopelessly agreeing. That's why all this art is so bad. That's why the music stinks. That's why the comedy stinks. That's why everything is so absolutely terrible, because everyone is just so interested in being friends. And like, I don't want to be a friend. I want to make great stuff. And then you just rely on yourself to make the great stuff, because then screw it. You might as well just do it alone. And I can't even get along with me, let alone with them. But the fact that they can't see it anymore, that they can't do it, they're like, they just want to do their weekend dad thing, go hang out in their, in their socks and sandals, rent out some crappy studio space, because they make good money now, so they could like record a couple of tracks and just jam. They just want to jam. The hell with your jamming. You need to be good, or then it's for nothing. And I'm sorry that we can't even just have a beer. Well, I'm going to have one, and that's that.